Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their views on the world we live in. We can't promise you'll like what we have to say, but we will promise it's genuine. I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike.
And it's time to pull the pin. All right, Mike, what do we got on the table today?
Well, I think a good topic of conversation, Jim, should be kneeling in sports. Sports is about to kick off again with the regular season, off season, whatever they're going to call it, half seasons. And some players are going to kneel. Some players are going to be against it, speak against it. And I think it's a good topic for today. What do you think?
Awesome. Why don't we go ahead and start right where it all began? And I believe the farthest I can trace it back was Mr. Kaepernick, right?
Yeah, okay. If you want to go there, yeah.
Was there something sooner, you know?
No, it was someone kneeling in sports, but no one had an issue with it.
Oh, you talk about, we could get to that if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you sure no one had an issue with it?
I'm not going to say no one, not like they did with Kaepernick.
Okay. All right. So then let's break down the Kaepernick, then we'll make the comparison later.
Absolutely.
So I believe it was was it ex-Green Beret? Nate Boyer. I think Nate Boyer was the man who told him that taking a knee was an honorable thing, right? Because I think at the beginning he was just sitting on the bench, not, almost to me like pouting like a little kid. But Nate said, do something that he felt a little more productive. So since Nate Boyer is an ex-Green Beret, and we just so happen to have an episode about veterans talking for other veterans, what do you think of Nate and his advice?
If Nate told him that, when Nate told him that, I truly believe Nate was responding to Kaepernick's question, will I be disrespecting or dishonoring your service in any way? And he told him no. So
Nate spoke for the entire military and said, no, you won't be disrespecting me.
No, he said he won't be disrespecting him and his service.
So it was all about pleasing Nate.
I guess so, yeah.
So was Kaepernick's question about you, Nate? Will I offend you, or is this offensive to the military?
I think it goes along with what we were talking about in our first episode about how someone will ask a vet a question and they genuinely are giving their response about them, but not the entire military. But Kaepernick probably took it that way. If you look at his service record, and we talked about that, right? He was a Green Beret, so he can speak for more of the military than just a little peon military police like you.
So right off the bat, like you weren't one. So right off the bat, we got some miscommunication where one guy is either trying to speak for the entire military or speaking for himself, and the man asking the question didn't make it clear whether he wanted the military voice or your voice. Right. Or do you believe Kaepernick did want to know what the military would think?
I would say it wouldn't surprise me if Kaepernick took it as this guy served. He's a good friend of mine. I'm going to take him at his word. So why can't he speak? Oh, yes, he did speak for the military in his eyes, in Kaepernick's eyes. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to clear the plate here. Yeah. Kaepernick, you think, was doing the right thing, asking somebody he respected as a veteran.
Right.
If kneeling was a problem, or whether he asked him what he could do. Either way, the result was kneeling.
Right.
He believed that would not offend the military.
Okay. Now I don't want to get too much into Kaepernick's head, but
sure.
I can't speak on it like that. But I will say I don't see an issue with that. As far as him, he did reach out to a service member, and the service member gave him, like you said, some advice, or just said no, responded to the question, said no, I don't look at that. I donned a uniform, so you'll be able to do that. So
I don't know. I don't claim to be the smartest guy, and I'm not well read up on all of this stuff. But if I remember correctly, I think it was Nate who suggested kneeling because it was some sort of a respect thing, and I try to break that down in my own mind. Where like, when has kneeling been a respect? And I know there are cases, where religious kneel to God. Knights kneel to their Lord.
Right.
So I really don't know where Nate was getting that at. I personally disagree with Nate's opinion of how kneeling is respectful, because kneeling is submissive. It's not respect. I'm showing submission. So that kind of doesn't fit Kaepernick's direction and all that. So I really don't know why that became even the best advice he can give.
Well, you use a good word there, submissive. Well, him being submissive is being also peaceful. He's protesting and he's being peaceful in the process. As you said, submissive.
Yeah, I don't know if I look at that as a peaceful thing, because I think peaceful and submissive could be two different things, because knights were submissive to their lord before they went out and killed somebody.
Well,
I don't know what part of peaceful you saw in that. Maybe,
well,
please, king, don't hurt me as I go kill our enemy. Like, I don't know.
you're conflating two things.
All right, all right. Cause,
No, you said they submit. They would submit to their lord, and then they'll go out and kill people. And you're absolutely right. But when they were killing people, they didn't submit just before.
no, but they submitted to the lord they serve, or the king they serve.
Right,
I
right.
mean, so what was the Kaepernick submitting to?
Well, no, him being using the word that you use, submissive, he's also being peaceful, is what I said.
As opposed to
Okay.
peacefully sitting on the bench?
Yeah, maybe some people had an issue with that.
Well, right, but
If
I
you
could
remember
easily say,
correctly, right? People
I could
had an
easily
issue with
say,
that.
I think, am I sitting peacefully?
Yeah, I mean, if I
Am
was
I,
sitting next to you, we'd be throwing jabs. It
am
would.
I, am I sitting before you submissive?
Well, it depends on the context.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. We can push on from that point if you want.
Right, right,
So,
right.
so basically what we're saying here is you have a problem with people having a problem with him kneeling.
Absolutely not. No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
I just tried to turn that into like a triple double negative so that you had no idea how to answer that, but you firmly said absolutely not.
Oh,
So
absolutely not.
maybe it's better if you explain to me how you feel about it.
Kaepernick had an issue, and he had a voice. He had a platform. He decided to take his voice onto that platform and say, "Hey, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to stand as if everything's okay in this country and be submissive to the flag." Okay, I had to throw that in there, Jim. Okay, but this is my. I have some angst against the country in that context of
Right.
police brutality, and this is how I'm going to voice it.
All right. So you did a great explanation of what we already talked about. How do you feel about that?
I don't. It it doesn't bother me.
His
It doesn't
actions,
bother me.
his actions doesn't bother you.
No, no,
Kneeling
because no, it's a protest.
or sitting, none of that bothered you.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And if
Well,
you ever don the uniform, and this is me, this is how I feel. If you ever don the uniform, that's what you fought for. That's one of the things that you fought for.
I 1000% agree. I agree.
1,000.
I agree 100% that yes, he has the right to protest. Yes, he has. We fought for that right, and we
Yes.
still defend it. You know, even if I'm not serving anymore, I will still defend that right.
Right.
But I can't say I'm completely okay with what he did.
Okay.
For one, there's a couple factors. I can speak for myself, but I am a sports fan.
Right.
Maybe you don't recognize this, but this is hockey.
That's hockey?
Yes, hockey. They play on
Ah.
ice. Yeah.
I thought that
So-
was tennis. But
No,
go ahead.
no, tennis don't have jerseys.
Okay.
So I like sports.
Right.
And to me, sports are not my life, but I do connect to them. You know, like this is my team, you know, we
Yes.
all have some form of that, right?
Yes.
So we do get emotionally invested in our team and our sports. So my problem is I don't go to watch sports to care about your protest. I don't.
Okay.
I simply don't care what you think is important because you have a platform. I come there, I pay my money, I bought this jersey, goes to the league so that I can watch sports, not politics, not protests. So
Good
that
point.
is, I have a problem with that, and I have a problem with the fact that he is being paid to protest. You said about a platform. He's got a platform. Everybody knew
Right.
who he was.
Right.
He can go off duty somewhere. He can go on his Twitter feed like everybody seems to do. And he can go say all the protesting things he wants to say. He can make a YouTube video, or he can put a cool hat, smile, have his military friends around him, and say, I'm tired of the oppression of cops, whatever. He can make any protest he wants.
Right.
And he has that right. And that's
Okay.
kind of the right I fought for. Now,
That's kind of the right you fought for.
well, and the reason I say kind of, because let's go back to the submission part.
Mm-hmm.
When you were a soldier in the military, you had a boss. Were you allowed to protest?
Well, protest what?
Anything, whatever
Anything?
you wanted. Chow hall food. You go right out in formation while everybody's standing at attention. You take a knee because you don't like the taste of chow hall food.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
You can. You sure can try.
There's some repercussions to it, but
Oh yeah,
you can do that.
And so why is that repercussion any different than working for a professional sports team and the public that's paying your salary? Why is that any different?
The public is not really paying a salary now.
Well, if nobody showed up, they would have no money.
Okay, I got that, but if I'm the owner of the sports team,
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying you to provide a service,
Sure.
right? Quarterback, running back, athlete, whatever, right?
Sure.
So I'm paying you. So if his boss, as you said, with us
Sure.
being vets, if his boss elected not to do anything, as if he was that first sergeant holding formation, then okay, that's on the owner. That's on his boss, as we put it, right? That's not on Kaepernick. So
Okay.
now it sounds like people just have an issue with him protesting, and that's the part I don't understand.
Well, I can't speak for everybody. Like I said,
Right.
I can tell you my feelings. It's like I said, him taking a knee, sitting on the bench, which he was used to doing anyway, burning the flag, like these are things I don't care. If you're not hurting me, you may hurt my feelings because I'm so sensitive.
Right.
You know, because the military made me sensitive. You may hurt my feelings, but I understand that that's your freedom.
Right.
Like I said, if he'd done this outside of his platform, then I get it. He's already a celebrity.
Okay,
So he
but
has.
what's the problem with him doing it when he did it? A protest is a protest.
Well, I just explained to you.
Yeah, I know, but okay, so if I go to a sporting event and you have people protesting, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, Second Amendment, outside of the sporting event.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I don't get it, but okay. But they're peacefully protesting, that's their right. So that's what I don't understand about. He's not infringing on anyone else's right, except for yours to enjoy a sporting event, right? I don't think that's in the Constitution anywhere, but you know, we could tackle that some other day.
I don't know, man. There's an amendment somewhere that says I have the right to enjoy my sports.
Especially in New Jersey, I'm
There
telling
is
you.
an amendment. I don't. Well, not New Jersey, because New Jersey's owned by New York and Pennsylvania. So.
But I don't. The problem I have is people have a problem with Kaepernick and him protesting, and he did nothing wrong, nothing illegal, nothing wrong. And people, just like what you're saying right here, is you wouldn't have a problem if he did it outside of that platform. That's the part I don't get. People always say, well, this is not the place.
Well, I don't, because like I said, he's on the clock. He's on the clock. He's being paid to protest.
No, he's not. He's being paid to play.
Right.
Or as you say,
right.
He's being paid to sit on the bench.
Right. So he needs to play.
Okay.
Not protest.
No one was playing at that time.
But that's part of the program. You don't get to skip practice just because you feel like cops are beating up.
Yeah, but he didn't skip practice.
Exactly.
Why? He showed up for the game.
Why didn't he skip practice? That would have been a good protest. He didn't skip practice, did he?
Because that would affect his money.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. So taking a knee during the ceremony before the game is not equal to practice.
Well, if you think about it, now if he skipped practice in protest, now he's protesting against his team. He's affecting the team. His protest didn't affect the team.
How do you know that? How do you know that? What do you mean by that? It didn't affect him?
It didn't affect him. Okay, if he skipped practice, that would affect the team, that camaraderie, right?
Not if he's not playing. Well, how do you know his protest? How do you know his protest didn't offend somebody on the team?
I don't. Do you?
No, but you can't say that it didn't affect the team, because there might have been guys feeling awkward. There might have even been other black men that felt like, what's wrong with this dude? Now he's dragging you into it.
I'll give you that. But in the absence of knowing that, in the absence of knowing that, okay, I don't know that. So if someone says, well, you have these guys on the team who that it affected them. Okay, we can revisit that and talk about it. But no, as far as I know, it didn't affect anyone on the team.
Well, it affected a lot of other people. That's why we're having this conversation, right?
Exactly. It
Right.
affected you too. Yeah.
Well, it did affect me. Like I said, I'm not full blown concerned about it, because let's talk about what you were going to talk about earlier. I believe what you're going to talk about, Tim Tebow.
No, I wasn't going to talk about Tim Tebow.
Oh, well, I'm going to talk about Tim Tebow. Because let me tell you, Tim Tebow did the same thing, and he got all kinds of flack for it.
He did?
Oh, he did.
Oh,
religion don't belong in football. God don't belong in football.
You're not lying about that. Well, religion does belong in football.
Well,
they just don't want you to express it, because if you go, I guarantee, if you go on the field with the Quran, hey, this is a Christian sport. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah. I have no idea where you got that idea from.
I'm just saying. People say keep religion out of sports, but if someone brings it in, it has to be their religion. Then it's okay.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe a topic in itself, but I don't ever remember anything being a religious sport. I don't remember. Me neither. That.
But him, okay, why did he catch a lot of flack then, Tim Tebow?
Because people thought it wasn't appropriate.
What, to pray?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've never heard that. I've seen him get a lot of support.
Well, he got a lot of support because that attack was not protesting anything. That attack was glorifying his God. He believes in that. Let me give you a good example.
Okay.
Maybe you can relate this. I'll go back to my military service in Hawaii. You remember?
You love bringing that up, don't you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, it wasn't all great. Believe it or not, 3 years in Hawaii was only half good. I can get to that another time. But anyways, when I was working on shift down in Waikiki, because we had a station down at Waikiki.
Keep it going, Jimbo.
So that was back when, I think I remember, that's when the DOD started becoming integrated with military police.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we started to see this, the DOD people we had, they were some Muslims.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever encountered that, but
go ahead.
Have you?
Yeah, but not in DOD, when I was with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Yeah.
Right. Well, let me tell you, in DOD, Department of Defense, military police on duty had to give the Muslim people time to pray while on duty, regardless.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to get into a whole religious discussion, but my point being is we made compensations for religion in the Army. And it's not, you can't make the Christian argument because it wasn't a Christian. So you see what I'm saying? We made compensations for these people to have their freedoms and do what was according to their religion. So I don't see a man on his knees. You don't know what he's doing. You're assuming he's praying. And even if he does some funky gestures, that could be just, misinterpreted as, I love Hail Mary football. I want to play really great today. Like, you don't know what he's saying unless he clearly come out and says, no, I'm thanking God. But
like he did, but
sure,
go ahead.
Sure. But my point is, at first glance, you don't know what he's doing. We're all just assuming, right?
Right.
But what Kaepernick was doing, nobody had a clue until he came out and said, I'm not going to play for it. And then all of a sudden, it's not, I love my God. It's, I hate you people. And you don't have to say you didn't take it that way. That's fine. But let me tell you, when you hate your country.
He never said that, but okay.
Oh, well, what he hated what? What did he do? He was
abusive
country
police
that
officers.
Supported police that were abusing black people.
A country that supported, did he say that? Or did
he
say, no, or did he say that he didn't like, he didn't like being in a country that allowed police to
allow? I don't know the words, but the word I'm looking for, they allowed. So the country allowed it.
The country is not doing anything about it.
What do you mean anything?
Anything. Which case do you want to look at? You can see so many cases where police have wrongly did whatever to citizens, and for lack of a better term, they get off. And that's what he was protesting.
Sure.
So you think he was just protesting something else?
I don't know what he was protesting.
Then why do you
Because,
have a problem? Just the fact that he was protesting?
yes,
So you just have a problem with him doing,
protesting on duty while I'm trying to enjoy my sports.
so him protesting disturbed your enjoyment of a sporting event.
Yes, because it
He's,
it
he
just
said
became this
nothing.
big political thing where nobody cared about the game anymore. All they cared about was his protest.
Yeah, but he didn't make it a big political thing. He didn't.
No.
No. All he did was kneel, and people came up to him and asked him what's going on, and he told them.
So why would you kneel if you're not trying to make it a big thing? What is the sense of a
It's,
protest if you don't want people to know about it?
well, okay, I get what you're saying. I truly do. I get what you're saying, but when you speak on it, it's like he's not doing anything. He said nothing. The only thing he did was take a knee, right? He
Sure.
took a knee,
Right.
and you have an issue with that because
Well,
it's at a
well,
sporting event.
well, that's the crux of my issue. I mean, there's other issues I have because I have the issue. I do have an issue with the whole protest himself, but I don't want to dive into the whole, you know.
So what are we doing
issue.
here, Jim? What are we doing here? I'm ready to dive, deep sea dive, if you will.
Well,
Right?
all right. So let's go to this protest. All right, let's accept the fact that okay, you're absolutely 100% correct. The protest was great, didn't hurt nobody. So why? Let's go into Dallas Cowboys. Why could they not put stickers of fallen police officers on their helmets?
I have no idea.
Do they not have the right to do that?
You talking about an athlete?
I wouldn't say right. It's not.
Well, I get
right.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Someone could have done it, but once again, then the owner steps in and says, "Hey, you're not doing that on my team."
No, the league shut it down.
Oh, the league shut it down.
Dallas Cowboys were going to put stickers on their helmets for those cops that were massacred, and the league said
up in
no.
Dallas, yeah.
Yes, we don't do that.
And you're saying that's the same thing.
I'm just saying it's a protest.
What are you protesting?
Cops getting mowed down?
Okay, so did the criminals get away?
I don't know.
I'm asking. I'm just asking for,
I don't think the results of it are relevant. My point being is they're making a
how is that
statement.
not relevant? Okay, now we're talking about just making a statement.
Sure.
Okay, all right. So the statement they wanted to make was to honor some fallen police officers, right?
Right.
I have absolutely no issue with that.
Right, but the league did.
Yeah. So now the issue is the league.
Sure.
In your case, you would be saying the league has a double standard, correct?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where the order came from. I just don't know where the order. I can't speak. I don't know where the order.
I just say it was Goodall. He's at the top. He has to take it all.
I don't claim to know all this stuff. Look, even if I sound stupid and ignorant, that's because I only know, and that's the purpose of this show. I think is this is the information we got. I mean, none of us have time to sit here and dive into every incident and research it. If I wanted to bring if I want to bring accurate information, maybe I'm wrong. And that's what's going to happen. I'm sure once the comments start flowing in, I'll know when I'm wrong. I'll know when I'm wrong because everybody will let me know when I'm wrong. And maybe they'll call me even stupid for not knowing. But the point that I'm getting at is we can't know everything and I can't keep up with everything.
Right. I do like the way you're just expressing your opinion about it.
Well, that's why I say it's genuine.
Yeah, exactly. Because now when I say things about Tim Tebow and I do that comparison, I'm not talking about the general public. I'm talking about personal friends of mine who thought he was doing a good thing, right? Oh, Christian, he's promoting that. Okay, then Kaepernick did it. Oh, man, they should take his salary away, end his contract. To me, that was a double standard, just like I would agree with you. The league shutting down the Dallas Cowboys, putting stickers of fallen officers, if they wanted to honor that, and they say no, to me, that's a double standard. Well, but I don't think that's a protest, though.
What is there any way to separate the double standard into, like, let's say, the only way I can consider what Tim Tebow did wrong is if you don't believe in God. And even if you don't believe in God, he didn't hurt you. Right?
Tim Tebow, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Now, what Kaepernick did, he didn't say, I believe in the boogeyman and I'm going to support the boogeyman. You don't believe it, it made you mad. No, he said, I'm not going to, whatever the quote is, I'm not even going back into it. Basically,
Right.
he was calling out the country which you and I fought for, the country
Yep.
which you and I are part of, as if we were the problem for letting policemen do whatever he thought was a problem. So now he's not going on the support of anything. He's not supporting police reform. He's not supporting anything. He's attacking. And you could call it a protest if you want.
He's
but
attacking what?
The people who feel that they're part of the country, the people who feel that they're the ones that he thinks are not holding police accountable or stopping police from doing something.
Oh, okay.
I think that's an offensive gesture, offensive by offense, defense. Not like I'm offended, but I think that's an offensive gesture, what he did, as opposed to what Tim Tebow did. Tim Tebow did not attack anyone with his belief.
But he brought his non-athletic belief to the sport.
Sure. And what if he'd sat in the sidelines on the bench and did the same thing? Nobody would have known.
No. Well, if he did it while the national anthem was playing, and then they go up after the game and ask him, hey, why were you doing that? Oh, I was talking to God.
But did he?
No, he didn't.
Why?
He believes in standing up doing the national anthem.
Sure. And
so it's okay, right?
Let me ask you, Mr. James.
Okay.
Are you not proud of this country?
Proud. 5-letter word. Large definition. Sometimes, no, I'm not.
Well, you don't.
Go ahead.
Are you proud of your children?
My children?
Yes.
Which one?
Any of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
no matter what they do right or wrong, right? When they're good and bad, you're proud of them.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because they're going to carry your name. What do you mean, absolutely not?
Oh, no, when they're bad, no, I'm not proud of them. Now, that's another show, brother. That's another. But
all right. So maybe my wording is bad because, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I'm not proud of their mistakes, but I'm proud of who they are because they will overcome their mistakes.
Hopefully, yes.
Well, they better, or I'm going to have to figure out a way to make them overcome.
Exactly. And if they're watching this show, you're damn right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, my kid's going to walk in here right now, stand behind me, and take a knee.
Yeah. And you will have a problem with that.
I'll knock him upside the head. Don't disrespect my show.
There you go. Don't ever say pull the plug. You say pull the pin.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with my kids. But let's move
kids
forward.
Are kids, brother.
What's that?
I said kids are kids. You gotta love them.
You know, and it's funny. Remember, I gave you an analogy of bringing things into your home.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I feel about this too. Is what Kaepernick did was on a worldwide level, and I say world because many people are watching America.
That's right. NFL,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if he believed what he believed, I think there were many, 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 many ways he could have showed that.
Okay.
Why he chose that path, I have no idea. There's speculation all over the world, but he's a very wealthy man because of it.
Okay.
But I think there are many, many ways. And in fact, I think there are many people in sports who have already done that for their communities. In fact, I could probably name a few people who have actually done a lot of good in their communities. Drew Brees. Can we talk about Drew Brees here? He had given a lot of money to that community.
Yeah.
Both white, black people, all of it. He helped that community. And he made the comment that he will not kneel because he respects, and he was berated for it.
Okay.
So much he had to apologize twice.
Why was he talking about that though?
I don't care. That's his
opinion. He compared, because there was a comparison between the Neil Kaepernick and him. So he was basically talking to Kaepernick about, no, I respect the country. See, when Kaepernick took a knee, people took offense to it, right? And when they took offense to it, they were representatives of the country. So it's like when he says, no one focused on when he said he's protesting police brutality and nothing being done about it. No one talks about that. It's just kneeling for the national anthem. That's all they talk about.
Well, why can't I take offense for me?
So what?
Why can't I take offense for me? Why does my offense have to represent the country? I'm not offended by it. Believe me, that's not my problem. Like I said, I'm not offended by it. I'm more mad that he got rich off of it, but I'm not offended by it. I just say, why can't I represent me? I don't like it. I'm paying to watch this. I'm doing, why can't I just voice my displeasure?
Who
And if
said
you
you
got,
can't?
and if you've got millions of people doing that, then why do we assume they're speaking for the country?
Because I don't understand. Once again, when I have conversations about this, I just ask people, what did he do to you?
Well, let me ask you. This is where I think the crux of the problem is, to me personally.
Okay.
If I were to walk up to you and spit in your face and ask you for $5, are you going to give me $5? I mean, let's be serious here.
No.
If I have a problem, my children are starving, it's a problem. It's a real problem.
Right.
It's my problem. It's not yours. It's
Right.
mine. So police brutality and all that is not my problem. It's his problem.
Right.
So if I want you to help me with my problem, I'm not going to come at you and say you're the problem because you're not helping me with this problem.
Okay.
You're not getting my help. So that's
Okay.
what I'm saying is I just think his approach was terrible. I think he just attacked so many people. They all had the choice to be offended or not. I think he attacked so many people to tell them, hey, you're part of the problem because you're ignoring what's important to me. I just don't think that's a good conversation starter.
Okay. What would have been a good conversation starter?
Well, just like the other guys did. They can bring awareness to, he can be like, hey, let's post these things. Look, this is happening. He can write letters. He can do petition the government. There's so many things he can do without blaming you.
Okay. He didn't blame me.
But you can say, you can't fault someone for saying he's blaming them because they are American.
I would fault them for saying that.
Why?
Yeah, if we're gonna have a discussion about it.
But that's not fair.
Why? How is that unfair?
It's not fair because it's like
look at what he said. I'm not gonna stand there and honor a flag that doesn't care about its citizens.
Well, first of all, the flag don't care about anything.
Okay, the country. The flag represents the country.
And the country represents what?
The people.
Okay, so are you not part of the people?
Yeah, but when you really talk to him, right, and listen to him when he speaks, he's talking about abusive police officers. And even when I was a police officer, I didn't even take offense to it because I knew he wasn't talking about me.
Sure, but that's part of the problem. Let's talk about who is the problem. Don't say America's the problem. Not how many? There's 330 million people in America at least.
Okay.
How many of them are doing nothing about police brutality? You don't have a clue, do you? Neither does Captain. No. So the easy way out of this is just to put them all in this group and say, you're not doing anything to solve my problem.
Yeah, but he's talking about the people who can do something.
What people?
The people in charge.
Who?
Police chiefs, government officials.
So then why not say that? Why not say the police chiefs and government officials are not doing anything to fix this problem?
So if he would have said that during a sporting event, the one that you were paying, okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
That doesn't negate the fact I don't like the where and when he did it. My point, we're talking about the cause now, the approach to the cause.
So your whole thing is, I don't care what your cause is. If it's not throwing the ball, catching the ball, running with the ball, I don't want to hear it during a sporting event, correct?
Bingo.
Okay. Why didn't you say that from the beginning? We could have done a whole nother show, man.
I thought we did say that.
I'm gonna rewind the tape and look.
But I guess that's where my problem lies. Outside that approach, it's his approach, and I think it's many people's approach. What's important to you is not what's important to me. Right. I can't make you give a damn about the dog leaving fur in my house.
Right.
Could you imagine if I went outside and started demanding that people help clean up my fur in my house? I know it sounds like a ridiculous example.
Yeah, but we have to do that just to prove the point. Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is, even if his cause is legitimate, it doesn't have to be on the top of my priority list. And you screaming in my face doesn't put it at the top of my priority list. So I think, look at the past, look at the history of the way things happened. We've got baby seals being killed, yet the military still sings about them. But we got whales, we've got global warming, we got all these problems. And Greta Thunberg seems to think the only important thing in this world is global warming.
Understood.
Well, why isn't that the most important thing to you?
It doesn't affect me in any way right now, at least that I can see.
Sure, and even if it did affect you in a slight way, what's wrong with having it number 20?
Exactly. Now, because
Okay.
that slight way it has to be measured, right?
Oh, sure.
Another thing that affects me in a slight way might be not so slight, you know. So now that's going to go on top of the priority list, just like what you're saying,
right?
Right. I'm gonna tell you something. When I was in Afghanistan, not as a soldier, once again, I spent more time over there as a contractor, but it's a friend of mine named Danny. He put
Wait. Can I stop you? I just want to clarify for the people out there who aren't in the military that as a contractor, you do half the work at twice the pay. Just so you understand. Go ahead.
That is not true. that is not true. Oh my Lord, man, that is so wrong, Jimbo.
Go on with
That
the
is
story.
wrong. Because
I still love you.
I tell you right now that you don't do half the work. You barely do any work, and you get 3 times the pay. I tell you that. That's the truth. That's another show. Yeah, another episode, man. But
I was way off.
No worries. But my friend Danny, he always said, man, he said Americans don't care about many things until it's in their backyard or front yard.
I agree.
And that right there, I remember telling him that is a part of the problem, because you don't have an issue with something until it's in your front yard or backyard. So, hey, that's your fight. That's your fight.
But let me ask you.
I'm out here fighting, whatever the cause is, whatever.
Well, right? I agree with that, but can you fight all the causes?
As an American, if it's an American cause, yeah.
Can you fight all the causes? You can't fight climate change and
well, it depends.
You just can't. What it comes down to, this is what it comes down to, and this is why I kind of tie it all back together. I don't want to talk about Christianity and where it's come, right, but the basis of Christianity is really to do the right thing. And doing the right thing doesn't mean it has to be your problem. So I can't sit here and tell you I have all the time in the world to worry about your problems. But I can tell you, when I'm presented an opportunity, if I just do the right thing, it could help your problem. If I don't throw trash on the ground or in the lake, it could help global warming. If I'm not wasting money on something that I don't need to use, it could help global warming. So most of the causes that we don't pay attention to, it doesn't necessarily mean we don't care about it. We may not see the impact, like you said, in the backyard, which I totally agree with. I totally agree with that statement. Mm-hmm. But I can't just maliciously say that people don't care about police brutality. I can't say that, because even as a policeman, I have to tell you, the department I wanted to work for, I walked in there to do just a tour of the place, and I seen 2 cops go into a cell with a screaming lady who had cuffs on, and they were in there. I'm just going to assume it was not appropriate, but they were roughing this lady up, telling her trying to get her quiet. Now that's just my observation, and that's so that was my problem, and I never worked for that department. And I told the guy, I'm not working for this department so I did what I could. But do you want me to go stand out in the street and hold a sign, stop police brutality? That's insane for you to think everyone should take their pitchfork and go fight your problem.
Okay, but if you're not going to join the fight, that's fine. It's like you said, we do other things. Now, you might not pull the trigger in battle, right? Sure. But you might be part of the support elements that support the men and women on the front lines.
But right.
So we all play our part, basically what you're saying, right?
Sure.
And I agree 100%. Now, you took a stance and you said, hey, I'm not working here.
Just 100%? Can I get 1,000?
No, I'll give you 150. Boy, you're not going to let that one go, are you?
No, it still annoys me to this day.
Yeah. All right, but what was I saying now? You made me lose my train of thought.
I did that on purpose.
I know you did. And people do it when I talk to them at work too.
Maybe we've exhausted the problems. Let's look at what's happening today. As you said, sports are starting up. And I think I want to look at this from the approach of what I was just talking about. We saw baseball. Baseball, some games they took a knee before the national anthem. even that I'm okay with. Even though I don't know what it was about. I don't know what it was about. They're
It
allowed to
doesn't
take their
matter.
knee.
They're just protesting at a game.
Yeah,
According to you, they shouldn't do it.
yeah,
You
I'm not
shouldn't have
a,
an issue with it.
listen, I'm not a fan of it, but they're not attacking someone else to get their point across.
You don't know yet, right? Because you don't know what the cause was.
Right, because remember that Bug's Life with all the little animals in the grass? I
Right.
bet you there's people out there that are mad that these knees are crushing bugs or killing grass.
That's another episode.
But my point being is, I personally support the flag. I support our country. I've always advocated for change and fix it. We always are growing. I always did that. So to point at the flag, you are pointing at me because I do feel like I'm doing something to make a difference. I do feel like I'm doing the right things. So you're still telling me no matter what I do, I'm still part of the problem. So even though I don't think they need to do it on duty, I still agree that there's no place for it. But if you're going to do it on duty, do it before the national anthem. You're still protesting. People still know you're protesting, and you're not offending another group, except for the animal lovers that eat grass. But you know what I mean. So
Right.
there's always going to be people who don't agree, always. But when you piss off half of the people that watch your sport, that's too many.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the people who worry about the bugs in the grass, there's
Right.
probably gonna be a small portion of them.
They're not on priority.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. To me, that is a better approach. But then look at what the WNBA did. You probably didn't see it because nobody watches that. They all walked out in the national anthem. They walked out during the national anthem. So they kind of went the opposite direction.
Right.
I don't know how that's going to get them more revenue, more pay, more fans. I just don't know how that's going to do that. Because you're basically spitting in the face of the people who do find the flag to be representative of a good country that's fought against evil for many years. So I think it's a wrong approach. Now,
Okay.
One last example. I'm going to go to my favorite sport. Now, we all know there's not a whole ton of black people in there, so I think the black unity thing, this probably ties more into Black lives than it does the police brutality. But they decided to do they stood for the national anthem, but they stood player in each team. They alternated players on each team as in unity instead of standing in their own teams and their own lines.
Mm-hmm.
They mixed up all the players so you're next to another teammate from a different team to show unity. So it was a less offensive way to show we are standing for unity. And I like that, even though you know, it's on duty, they're making a statement, but so what? Unity is never a bad statement to make.
Right. But okay, all right.
Solidarity, I can argue a little different, but unity, no. If you're going to stand solidarity with something, why aren't you standing with Americans? If you're going to stand in unity, that includes Americans, all Americans.
Okay.
So, how about have you even seen any of the recent stuff?
No.
All right. Have we exhausted this?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, WNBA, I support them.
For walking off?
Yeah, that's their protest.
Yeah, I just don't. Like I said, I go back to the whole thing. Why are you pissing off a group of people to make your point?
Didn't say it was right. Didn't say it was going to.
Well, sure.
Well, they're willing to sacrifice things for what they believe in.
Sure, and I commend them for that. I commend them for that.
Yeah.
But I just think I think that's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, let's put a resolution on this. I don't have a problem with the protests. Obviously, on duty, I think you should do your job.
You do have a problem, but go ahead.
Right, sure enough, fair enough. Because I think on duty, you should do your job. I mean, you're in Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're out on pay for a billboard. So what?
What is your job? What is this your job you keep mentioning? What is the job?
Whatever you need to do.
Yeah. Throw the ball, catch the ball, run with the ball.
Right. Entertain a bunch of people who are paying for that. Right.
Right. So these athletes we're speaking on, right? They did do their job.
So, okay. All right. I'll agree with you. I'll put it this way. I'll agree with you. I'll be okay with all of it because Mr. James, you just talked me into it. I'm okay with all of it. All right. I'm okay with all of it now.
You got to work on your sincerity, man. Go ahead.
No. All right. Maybe it's a little more sarcasm, but I'm okay with all of it as long as you're okay to pay the price. I mean, it's just that simple because let's say movies, music, they have all used politics in subtle ways, but they've done it. Especially movies today. It's a whole different topic. But movies today, they all slip in their politics. And guess what? If people don't like it, they don't pay for it.
Exactly.
So if the football wants to allow a man to piss off a good chunk of their audience because of his cause, if they do nothing about it, then they're taking the risk. So the topic,
and they did,
guess, yeah,
until his contract ran out, and now they collectively got together and said, "Hey, don't bring him."
Oh, they're going to bring him back now. Yeah, they're going to.
Oh, they might.
Oh, yeah, they will.
They might. You never know.
Because they have nothing to stand on except this.
Right. That money, yeah. That greenback. Right. Yeah. But the problem I have with the whole thing is, once again, just like I said at the top of the show, when you have a problem with people protesting, and it's protesting peacefully, right? You should never have, to me, you should never have to use those two words together. You can, like, they protest, right? Anything, throwing bottles, rocks, bricks into windows and that, okay, now you're rioting.
It's either a crime or you're infringing on someone else's rights.
Thank you.
Right.
And that's the problem. If they're not infringing on my right or my rights, why would I have a problem with that as an American?
Well, I don't. And for one, we can argue.
You don't, Jim, stop. I'm about to, that's it.
I don't have a problem with that point.
Okay.
But let me ask you, what if every player on that team decided they want to protest something different in a different way? It would be a clown show. It's not football anymore. It's a clown show. And I'll give you a good example of it. Let's talk about advertising. You know how advertising creeps its way into sports because it's money, you know? Well, if you look over in European hockey leagues, did I explain what hockey was?
No.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look over like in European, I think it's European leagues. Well, other foreign country leagues, they have advertising on their jerseys. They look like a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, in soccer. Yeah.
They look like clowns. They're kind of taking away from the team. And then what happens? Well, they peel that one off, put another one on. To me, it's just, what if they all had different advertisements on?
Yeah, but Jim, to us, that looks like it's odd. It's like you say, it's clownish. But over there, it's the norm.
Right, but we're talking about American sports. If that stuff came to America, then well, maybe not you, people would be complaining about corporations invading our sports, which they probably already do because
they do that.
Stadium is named after some big corporate company.
That's right.
So
Minute Maid, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So imagine taking that a step further. Everyone has a cause, dude. Everyone has something.
I get that, but it's not. Once the whistle blows, once the first pass, once the first pitch, once the first whatever happens, no protest is going on.
Because they can't. Because they're playing a game.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You say they can't?
But wait a minute.
Wouldn't that go back to when we were in the military, when you're talking about kneeling at formation, I dare you?
No, actually they can. You're right. They absolutely can because they do it every time when they get a touchdown.
No, God.
They're protesting something. They're picking up their phones, dialing them. They're doing all this silly stuff that's got something to do with anything I don't know about football.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Kaepernick should have lost all of his advertisement?
No, but that ties into our cancel culture.
I was going there.
Yeah, I think that's not fair. I think it is the right of the company to say you no longer represent what we stand for. Whether that's Christian, Muslim, atheist, if we stand for something and you're our spokesman or your name is on our product, you have full authority to pull it.
Exactly.
So in that sense, yes. But I don't think he should be canceled because he protests. Right. And dude, just to set the record before all the comment, I am 100% for protesting.
No, you're not.
I am
not at sporting events.
All right. I'm 99.9% for protesting done in the right way. No, I'm 100% for protesting done in the proper way. Now you say, what's the proper way? Yeah, the proper way to me. That's a good point. I don't like that. Stop contesting me. What I'm saying is if you're doing it on your own, protest all you dang want.
Right.
Otherwise, isn't it called a strike? Like, doesn't Verizon and unions go on strike?
Now, if he did it in the middle of a game or at the beginning of the game, he would be striking.
He ain't playing.
So why do people have an issue with them, Jim?
So
Why?
so the solution is stop playing the national anthem or stand for the national anthem. Because
No.
if it's part of the game, just like the coin toss is part of it. It ain't football. Nobody's throwing the ball, right? Could you imagine if the umpire flips the coin and everybody walks off in protest? The umpire's gonna be like, heads or tails? You know how stupid that would be?
Yeah, but then that's a strike. The game
But
has
it's part
already
of,
started.
it's not started?
No, the game has already started. That would be
How can the
striking.
game already start?
Hey, that's part of the game, buddy.
Well, they protest before that coin hit the ground. Nobody knows what it is.
That's not a part of the game, man.
Oh, just the flipping it is?
Yeah, once that goes up, that's it.
So what happens if they keep doing it? How many strikes they get?
Oh, well, according to baseball, I mean,
all right.
No. In all seriousness, I have nothing against the protest. First and foremost, sporting event is not infringing on my right to enjoy the game. I used to say the same thing about some people in Hollywood, Danny Glover, Al Pacino. I remember Susan Sarandon. They were like always saying something about George Bush, and that was back when I wasn't even a Bush fan. Let's say, right? I'm like, yo, I didn't come to see you just to get political.
Right.
You know?
So
but
what would you do?
Huh?
What would you do in that case?
Well, it depends. It depends. Sometimes, depending on the forum, I would just sit there, wait for them to get done, and then I'll just watch the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I didn't stop watching their movies or their television shows or whatever because of their political belief. I didn't cancel them out.
Well, I think the conundrum we got is that, like in movies, if you start watching a movie and they start getting too political and you know, like I'm not offended by anything to do with me. I'm offended by putting in unnecessary politics. Like it doesn't have to be, you know, with an agreement with me because I can laugh at myself or other things. But when it's unnecessary, it's deliberate. I can leave the movie. I can go watch another movie. Mm-hmm. If my sports team does something like that, I don't have choices. I can go watch European soccer.
Oh, they have too many.
The branding, it just makes me sick. It's like a circus. I just can't watch it.
I kind of like it myself. It's different.
I'm glad you like it. I can't tell who's who anymore. They all look like a bunch of bumper stickers running around. But you get what I'm saying is that's where I have no other choices. I can't go watch another team or another game or another league because it's all involved. Huh?
Yeah, then don't watch sports anymore.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an option.
We
all have options.
That's kind of the option I went to.
I think
that's not really an option.
Right.
It's not a choice. It's either you watch or you don't. That's not really a choice.
Well, we don't have a choice right now because
it's a dilemma.
Yeah, it's a dilemma. But now
choice is when you have three options.
Yeah. But now for me, I don't really get involved in it like that. To whereas if I don't look to Jim for his political views or whatever, wow, I want to hear what he has to say about this issue, this social issue, whatever, then your opinion really doesn't matter to me. Like I said in the past, when I used to get upset at these guys or these people when they give their political views, I was like, okay, but all right, it's their platform. I don't care. I just want to watch the movie. I want to, see whatever show I was sitting there to see. But my thing is, when people get bent out of shape about it, is most of the time, see if you agree with this, it's because they have an opposing view.
Well, I tell you, you just totally made me bring out a point. People are trying to be offended now. So if they had all
I would agree with that.
If they just ignored Kaepernick, he'd stop doing it. It would go away.
Or it wouldn't have so much effect on him.
Right. Well, I don't want to say it would go away. Well, I think it would go away because I don't think
if he kept doing it though.
But I don't even think his solution was even effective. All it did was bring out angry people who wanted to be offended. And that's why I said, I'm not really offended by Kaepernick kneeling in sports while he's playing. I'm offended that he's causing it to ruin the game. Like if nobody said anything, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
So you would say the people who ruin the game are the people who said something.
Yeah, probably.
Not necessarily him.
But you can't deny that he wasn't looking for that reaction.
He can look for something. That doesn't mean he has to get it.
No, I agree. At the end
So
of the
you
day,
agree that it's
yeah.
not necessarily Kaepernick. It could be
Oh, I'm
mainstream
not putting
media.
it all on Kaepernick. I never said that. I never said this is all Kaepernick's fault.
I know you just said it's not his fault. I
No,
agree
no,
with
I
you.
didn't say it's not his fault either, because I said there's so many better ways he could have
I know.
approached. I'm blaming Nate Boyer. No, I'm just kidding, Nate. Thanks for your service.
That's
But
right. Appreciate it.
yeah, I'm saying that there's so many ways to get your point across without offending other people. And that's how I'm going to sum it up. Regardless of what my belief is, you have a cause that's important to you. If you want to save the baby seals, you don't go after the fishermen and say, stop fishing because you're killing the baby seals. Well, maybe you could because they're the ones doing it. Yeah, let me rethink that analogy.
I will say this. Here in America, 2020, there is absolutely no way you can get your point across and stand for something without offending someone.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. You
So
saying that offends me. All right, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
you being here offends me.
Well, you being offended offends me.
Oh God, I'm not even gonna. You win. Hey, would you
So,
agree? It's time.
yes, we definitely need to pull a pin on that one.
Let's pull the pin.
So let's move on to our namesake segment. After that long drop, I don't even know what to call that session there. We just beat that one to death. But let's just move on to our segment called Let's Pull the Pin Already. Basically, explain again, is something we're just irritated about in the world that we just want to share with everybody. And I'll let you, Mr. James, start again if you'd like.
No, go ahead. Your
Oh,
turn.
you want me to start? All right. Well,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to take a trip back to the restroom, the bathroom. You're going to learn I have a lot of problems with bathrooms, not personally just in bathrooms, but the engineers behind some of the bathrooms. And today I want to talk about the faucet. I know many of you seen, and I could talk about many types of faucets, like the push button one that doesn't really work, but the one that really irritates me is the short faucet. The one where you're trying to wash your hands, but you keep rubbing up against the sink because it's so close to the edge of the sink. Like, are you really washing your hands when you're rubbing on the sink next to the faucet? I mean, I guess it's hard to give you the visual, but we've all seen it. Next time you go into a bathroom, see how far the faucet is from the back of the sink. In many of these bathrooms, they're just so close, I can't even get my hands in there to wash without hitting the sink. I think it just kind of defeats the purpose of rinsing your hands when you're constantly rubbing the sink. So
What are you rubbing the sink with, Jim?
my hands. When
What?
I'm putting let me explain washing your hands. Okay, let me
Okay,
explain it.
please.
I put soap on my hands.
Why do you? Okay, go ahead.
I rub them together. No matter how I turn the water on, the ones that annoy me, the push button was like 5 seconds and they stop. Those are really annoying.
Yes.
But when I turn the water on, it comes out of this thing called a faucet, right?
Oh, really?
Yes. So if you measure the distance from the water that comes out of the faucet to the distance to the back of the sink, if it's not big enough to fit both of my hands while I'm washing and rinsing, then I'm going to hit my hands against the sink.
Oh, okay, I understand.
You don't go to a lot of bathrooms, do you?
No.
Okay. Well, that's my bulletin. What about yours?
I just went to the bathroom while we were talking. Sorry. Mine is today, Jim. I'd like to pull the plug. It's something serious.
Pull the what?
Pull the pin, baby. I wanted to see if you caught that. Inside joke. Watch the previous episode. Hey, today I wanted to talk about something more serious instead of the bathrooms. Today we use a term a lot called "go paperless." Go paperless, and I'm trying to understand why. I see a lot of trees, Jim. There are a lot of trees around, and people still talking about go paperless. I'm like, what are the trees doing? I don't understand that. And you brought up a good point about the bathroom, Jim. Real. You go paperless, that's not meant for the bathroom. When you wash your hands, and I've done this once in my life in a gas station sink, I wash my hands and I'm looking around for the paper towels, and there are none. So I want to pull the pin on all the people who are talking about go paperless because we need paper towels inside of our bathrooms. Okay? We really need them, Jim. Are you with me?
Yes, and I want you to be reassured that they will never go paperless because people don't want to wipe their butts with nothing.
It depends on what country you're in.
Good point. And I can tell you that story another day.
That's right, brother.
I will never forget that experience. All right, well,
Okay.
fair enough. We're going to stop going paperless, and we're going to put our sinks further from the back so we can all wash our hands properly.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Be a better world. It will be a better world.
Awesome. Well, that about wraps it up. So thanks for joining us here. Pull the pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or whatever else you want to do. But most importantly, leave a comment. Let us know how you feel. Until next time, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.